Welcome back to Life Upgrade Garage, where we finally do the second test fitting of the engine and finish up the transmission tunnel. Hey there, I just wanted to mention that, anything that I do here on this channel is not to be taken as advice on any automotive procedure at all. I work on this stuff by myself. I try to do my best to make sure that I don't get hurt and I don't hurt others with the things that I do to my vehicle. Don't use anything I do on this channel as a how-to. Either look it up, ask a mechanic, or something like that to make sure that you're doing the right things and making sure that you're safe and your family and the general public are safe. All right, thanks for watching and have a good day. Today I'm not going to give you any song and dance about the internet working or not working or finding anything. We're just here working on the car. We're going to do the second test fitting today. Hopefully get the transmission cross member at least started to be built. I need some plate steel yet to be able to finish it. I'm just going to use some plate steel and some 2x3 rectangle tubing that I have already, and then we'll just fabricate it out of that. We're not going to be running massive amounts of horsepower, so it should be okay. We'll do our best also to kind of secure it up to make it more stable underneath the car. But right now that's the best option that I have, and that'll help us keep moving along on this. And that way when we get the new motor all situated and everything done, then it'll be ready to just pretty much drop in. And there'll be a little bit of wire, or not a little bit, there'll be a bunch of wiring and some reinstallation of parts on the car, but hopefully it'll be a lot easier at that point. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get to work. All right, I'm just showing you this. I don't know if you can see, there's water everywhere. It has literally been 15 below here the last week. It's a lot better out now. I actually was trying to film doing the cleanup of the transmission tunnel. Anyway, I was inside the car grinding. I was literally shivering because it was so cold because my heaters couldn't keep up. And all this rain, that's what I'm calling it, inside here, is from moisture from frost, because the tent got a frosting on the inside of it because it was so cold out. So I'm now here trying to thaw the place out, get rid of the rain. I don't want to be running power tools while water's falling from the sky in there, so just trying to dry it out, get that done, because I got a lot of outside work. I'm going to be finishing up the trans tunnel, which means I'm going to be using the grinder, and I'm going to be laying on the ground in here. I don't want to be laying in the water and having more water come down. So it's been interesting, I'll tell you that. Who said owning a race car was going to be easy, right? So, and technically it's not even a race car yet. I can't even call it that. It's just a project car, right? All right, well, I just thought I'd show you that. Hey, over here. No, not over there, over here. that's done. I got most of the sharp spots, or everything I could find that was sharp, you know, kind of dulled down so that I don't like cut myself every time I touch that area. Still gonna have to be careful and mindful of what's going on there so I don't really hurt myself. But it's time for my favorite part, to get out my old friend, the engine hoist. And that way we can do our little dance of up and down and up and down and back and forth. Alright, so here we go, let's have some fun. Already looking a ton better. It's going to slide right in there real nice. I'm already winded from this. Man, been at it 13 minutes. a favor and subscribe to the channel. I really would appreciate that. Also, you can adjust the notifications so that you get notified when we put out a new video or don't get notified when we put out a new video. I call that dealer's choice. I leave it up to you. If you're enjoying the video, please give it a like. You can also leave a comment and I will do my best to get back to you on anything that you may have a question about on the build, about me, or any other thing maybe I might answer. Doesn't really matter. Just throw something out there. I appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot. mean, I did okay, I think, with cutting out as much as I did. That back there, in the back right there, is gonna have to be cut yet. So I'm gonna go in and get some to drink, and then we'll get to it, I guess. Looking at these mounts, I mean, I might be able to do something or something, I don't know. I mean, they look like they may work. But the problem is that the engine is still slanting back 3 degrees to the back of the car. So I want to get that straightened out before I start making the cross member back there. And once I get that cross member done, then I'll really concern myself with the back and forth placement of the engine and transmission. I'm now just trying to get it level, you know, this way and this way, so that I can put that, or start to make that cross member back there and get that up in there to hold the transmission up, so that I can work with the motor mounts up here and get that all straightened out. That way I don't have to worry and concern myself with a jack underneath there. Is that affecting this or affecting that? It'll be in the car the way it's supposed to be in the car, and then I can put, or the transmission at least will be in the car the way it's supposed to be, and then I will put work into the motor mounts. Right now I just got shims underneath there trying to get it done, and that's why it's giving me goofy readings, because they're rubber, and because I didn't want to damage anything. But I keep moving it back and forth and it's not working. So I got to figure a different plan, but that's what's going on. All right, so I got it. Let's check this just in case. Zero it out. Oh, she went back the other way just a tiny bit. Tell you what, it's at a 0.05 degrees, like it's slanting this way a little bit to the driver's side of the car. For our purposes, I'll take it. That's just is, you know, that's great. So now I can work on getting that transmission in the right place and adjust them back and forth. Last time I checked, it was 3 degrees or 3.5 degrees tilted towards the back of the car. I actually need it 3 degrees or 1 to 3 degrees up in the back of the car, you know, like the transmission needs to sit up, so that whenever, you know, you're driving and you hit the gas and you accelerate very heavily, it doesn't bind the drive shaft. So we're going to work on that now. Good morning. So we're out here this morning doing some, I guess you'd call it height checks. Before we get too carried away, I started to last night think about making the transmission cross member and cut more out of the floor, and I don't think I needed to do that. So this is right around where the top of the intake is going to sit. As you can see, the front of the engine on the top of the intake at this point is 38 inches. So we are at least a quarter inch out on the front of the intake. Might be more than that. And then that's not, and it gets taller as it goes back, but so does the fender. Either way, no matter what we do at this lowest point that I could get the engine, I guess I could go a quarter of an inch lower But that would still put us even with the hood, which isn't going to work because you're still going to have to cut stuff out of the hood to get the engine to fit. And knowing that this is the lowest that the intake will probably be on here, and actually it'll probably be at least a little bit higher, being that I don't have the heads on it, and I don't know exactly where they're going to fit or how they fit with the intake or where, the height. We're going to actually go up with the engine and move it forward, since no matter what, we have to cut the hood. So I just thought I would give you a little update to let you know where we're at. We're going to take this front end back off and get it tore apart. Then we're going to move the engine up and forward with the transmission, because that'll help us get the transmission in its proper place. Because as of right now, when I look at it, the transmission pan hangs below the frame, and I don't want that. So it's got to come forward and up for that not to happen. So we got it in here to where I think it's going to sit. It's actually a little further forward than I thought it was going to be. I'm actually going to be able to put in back in some of the transmission tunnel. I'm just going to weld it back in. We still have this funny area over on this side to deal with, but not so big. Airbox is going to fit, so we're going to have the heater. All that's going to go back in. Transmission is being held up by a couple of straps right now. We got the jack out from underneath it. We're getting ready to take the hoist out of here. Then we can jack up the car, and I start working on the transmission crossmember. Now, I've already done a couple of things. Let me show you. This is the mount we're going to use, right? It's a energy suspension. At least for now, this is what's going to go in there. I picked it up at actually Advanced Auto, but it's sold at a couple different companies. This is just their cheaper one. I think it cost me 40 bucks. It works here. I looked at the measurement. This is the original mount piece that came off the bottom of the transmission. It works to work or fit there, right? And these two go on here. Anyway, this is the way the transmission crossmember goes in. It goes in. This is the back of the car. This is the back of the mount here. So it goes in like this, with this side towards the transmission. These two bolt holes fit in between right here, and I'm going to just drill a couple right there, probably closer to here, and then I will mount this up into the transmission, and then I can put this crossmember piece in there, or this crossmember piece in there, bolting it to here, which then should give me the ability to center the transmission on where it's going to go, which will help center the engine as well, and help us get it up, the engine and transmission, up to the level that it needs to be, so that I can work on what we're going to do for engine mounts. I kind of have an idea on what I'm going to do now that I've seen where this is sitting, but it may change in the future. We'll see what happens. The next time you see this, this will be on there, and at least the transmission crossmember will be mounted to the transmission underneath the car, but we're going to jack the car up so that I can actually work underneath it, because right now I can only get in about this far, and so my hand, the tippy fingers of my hand are the center of the car, and so it's really hard to work underneath there like that. It'd be nice to just be able to get underneath one side and bolt this to the transmission from one side, Thanks for joining us this week. We hope to see you next time. Good luck on all your projects.